9 to
turn to 9 months.
9 months.
And it's like tiny things like that are one of the things that help me. And I think like that's the that's the key thing for everybody is following the traditional route is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It doesn't guarantee
But it
anything.
doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee your happiness.
Yes.
It doesn't guarantee peace of mind.
Hello, boys and girls, our fans, our loyal listeners. We're back again. Yeah, our new set again. I think you just have to get used to this set. But I like it, it's quite comfortable. I have with me my sidekick. I have my sidekick, KOJ, King of Jackpot. So do you want to like introduce yourself or
Have you ever seen where a king introducing himself? How many times?
let's start. What's that thing that they'll be blowing trumpet and be giving? Is it Oriki they call it or something?
How many times I will tell you when you see king?
Okay, does Okwe have
introducing
a mic there? Okwe should be the one. Then from now on, from next episode, you'll be doing Oriki.
it's pride for you because you know it's not your work.
No, I'll write the Oriki now.
You write it.
She will
Abi.
sing it. Me, I can't sing.
Why can't you sing?
Have you seen a?
Have I seen it once? Hey.
I remember when I used to be humble on this podcast. Because you were supposed to give me something I didn't give me. Now I've gotten it, so there's no information. Anyways, we have KOJ here. Number one immigration consultant in Nigeria. Nobody bad that. If you didn't, they didn't do.
That's some wine.
Your stuff.
You're supposed to be more hyping yourself, but
Your stuff.
I'm doing it.
Again, where did not they see the king they hype himself?
It happen now. Like you say, oh, I'm the number one. But you just do it in a sort way, like, oh, I'm the number one in the game.
You see, with the things that I'm saying today, there's no way you talk about yourself in this Nigeria. They don't think you have pride. And right now, I'm not interested in people coming for me because I came for somebody yesterday and
I think I said this.
I expect the guy feedback. You know when you're suddenly coming for somebody, I just put it with all due respect. With all due respect, you don't know what you're saying.
Without due respect,
you
you don't mean
you don't know what you're saying.
Anything that comes after with all due respect is not respectful.
Without due
And
respect, but there's no respect.
You know the funny thing was that the guy was talking about studying abroad, and he's part of this group of young boys and girls who have gone abroad and think they cannot start a study abroad business. You know those people that don't know that in life you must pay your dues. And it's fine because you're helping people. Like there's some genuinity to it, but at least let people know what your aim is. Like me now, my aim is to help people. I also know ultimately that I will make money. It's a business. All of you that are from, we're doing it free. You know, we're abroad. We're here to help people, empower Nigerians.
Going through the corners.
Then all of a sudden, 4 or 5 of you now have 4 different startups, web app platforms for applying. Missing with all that nonsense.
Why are you solving? Call names now. Let's know. You're saying 4 5. Call names. You're the king now. Nobody can drag you. Call names.
Let's introduce
But,
our guest.
before we get this, what have you been up to since our last recording?
I went to retreat. I know it's you tried to.
Before the retreat, what have you been up to?
I was on leave. I was chilling.
How was your leave now? How was your?
It was good.
It was vacation when you went on.
I was on leave.
How was leave?
Same day. This guy. When somebody's not ready, when the king's not ready to speak, don't force him to speak.
No, but when kings embark on certain journeys, it's in the news now. Certain when they make certain moves in the news. So come on, man. But yeah, since the king doesn't want to talk, let's just.
This is not the episode.
I know it will come me. I might just slip of tongue. Is that what they call it now? I might just jabber during the episode. But yeah, we have with us a very interesting guest.
Interesting.
Interesting. I like your cap, by the way. So you probably won't go home with it, but
okay. Guys, let me just interject that Isaac's crush is on set today. Isaac has been begging me to bring her.
Where's the evidence?
Since I have WhatsApp.
Where's the evidence?
And I will share it with the studio.
Where's your evidence?
I was waiting to put this in. The moment I said in the office that Belema is back, like he lit up like
Jumping.
Sorry, sir. Sorry. That's,
But I mean, thanks for listening. We'll talk after. We'll talk after. this.
I want to lose focus. A guy introduce you. Introduce.
God, I'm
Introduce.
We have my crush. I've been waiting. for
You know,
so-
what's
What's now? Show me what you said now. Is that what you said?
Did we
That's
force
what
you
you said
to
now.
put it
I was on my own.
there?
I have secrets.
screaming.
I have secrets. You understand? You put out my secrets.
Sorry,
So
sorry,
it's not my secret now.
Sorry.
So,
sorry. That's why
I have
I'm
my
a king.
crush.
The
Yeah.
king is the king. I'm king of Japa, king of petty, king of plenty.
No wahala now. We're not done recording now. Since we entered, see, secrets will be revealed. Don't worry.
Secrets.
Secrets will be revealed. But yeah, we have Belema with us. She's
IJGB.
She's an
Start with that.
IJGB.
The IJGB edition.
IJGB. She's
I'm a
fresh.
Lagos
See the
baby.
skin. This is not Lagos skin now.
I'm a Lagos baby.
Let me tell you something, Benema. You gave it up with your dressing. A Lagos babe can't dress like this.
Yeah.
They don't have the self-esteem to dress
They
this
go
way
on
because
to
they'll be
make
checking
up,
themselves.
do wig. This
You
one, he
don't
just
give
came,
me anything.
and he's still
that,
giving regardless.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, of course, crush.
No, but she's
Crush is
she not
crushing.
giving. I don't know.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I've realized that for me, I would rather be comfortable.
Belema, stop with
Done.
these lies, please.
Ah,
Belema, stop with these
while I
lies.
do it.
When you guys, when you live abroad, all my friends are abroad. All of a sudden, no pride.
What's that?
No, they don't care about how many shoes they have.
The mentality
How
here
they
now.
dress, like everything don't switch.
Yes,
There's
no.
no
Now
need
you
to
tell me
be-
say you are comfortable. You are an abroad babe, and you just go back.
No, but it's mental. You know here.
I've realized that like I cannot be fighting with Lagos heat, right? So it's you choose what you want
You
to
choose
do.
your battles.
Do I want to wear wig, put on makeup,
But take it right
go
now.
inside?
There
There
is
is
one.
a-
Well,
no,
yesterday
sun
Me
is
was-
that
shining.
I'm battling with.
Sun is
cold.
shining. You know what's so funny is that the other day somebody was saying, "Oh, Hamatan has come," and I was like, "Where?"
Where's the heat?
Oh, you're
Where's
not feeling it too?
I
it
said, "Where
comes,
is
it,
this?"
I get
Oh,
it sometimes,
yeah,
but the
yeah,
last couple of
yeah.
days has been hot.
It's- yeah,
man.
true, sure.
I'm like, "Where is this thing that you people are seeing?" Because it's hot.
They attack my car.
Can't really share everywhere I go is AC. So like,
They attack and they make me feel insecure about my car. But again, I know they care about those things, but they attack my car because yesterday the heat must have hit like 37 or 38 degrees. It was super hot.
Mm.
And my AC they follow and fight one more. The heat na win.
you dey win your AC.
Steady.
You need to change your car. We'll work on it next year. I see a Tesla in your life. I can't lie. Like when we're coming, I was like, Tesla.
Can I
no go
ask you a
bother.
question?
Yeah, what's that?
Where would you charge the Tesla?
There are stations around now. But you know there are
Interestingly,
stations- yeah,
our
stations around.
partners, and this, I mean, see a sudden way of those plugging it without. This is why, see, when you go abroad, don't have shame or have pride. Just say it. This is King of Japa, and one of our businesses, Japa Partners, right? We partner with Cafe One by Sterling, right, in all their locations. And I don't know whether I should say it here because it be like, say, 2024 with the entire Ibadan Cafe One.
Be
But
like,
it be like,
me, I don't
right
dey
now-
pack my little child. You just dey be like me. I don't.
Right now,
From
I-
Jaffa to Ibadan.
no, the babes they make and move. But we'll get to that. So, but right now, Cafe One, we're in Cafe One Yam and Lekki, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sterling Bank just launched a electric
Charging
charging
station.
station.
Yeah.
That's why I just plug that in. So if you want
Mm.
to book appointments about your Japa plans, I just plug that in. My Tama, Abuja, Ikeja, anywhere, So yeah, that I feel charge them. But then I look the cost of Tesla. I'd rather win an election in
This is
Nigeria.
what.
Ah.
I'm sorry.
Minimum.
Yes, I know. I'm called the life of suffering, right? Because
Hey.
Tesla is having on 90K.
No, I think you can.
I think it depends on the kind
You
of
know
Your
you
plan
can.
and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, but like
plan,
90K. 90K right now is 90M. Oh, is that 90M, maybe?
Yeah, thereabouts.
About that.
That's like
Let me
that's lights for.
Let me go and help my local government.
That's lights for King of Japan.
Because that's not the point. The point here, where you want driver.
These
you
are
fix
the-
okay. So let's like you
If you
fix your
drive
when
on,
you fix your
if-
roads.
when I
When you fix your roads,
now
in
me
your
go
local
fix road.
government.
Now me go fix road.
No be you be.
If I buy
king.
Tesla and enter politics, waiting to go associate you with.
But
Say
your
Abidjan.
guys, your guys get Tesla now.
Which of
So
my
your
guys?
guys get Tesla now.
The ones with the inside.
Yes, now.
Those are my guys. But yeah.
aspire to perspire.
And then if you can't go Lekki flood go spoil the electronics.
Your car, you go there inside car, you go shock. You go shock.
Mo no drives you.
Yeah.
What's the introduction? Though? We get guests too.
I mean,
That's how our podcast we do.
let her just do the
So I
intro.
should.
What's the
introduce
point
myself.
of give
Can I
of
ask you?
guest
Can
giving?
I ask you people a question?
Yes, please.
How come King of Jaffa don't introduce himself? Now me go come introduce myself.
Are you a king?
No, you're not king, no.
Sorry, are you a queen? Yes, that's what I thought.
Have you seen this? Have you seen now?
Oh, yeah, queen of what?
Don't disrespect me. I'm queen of
Queen of
everything.
IJGB.
No,
No,
but
no.
yeah, well, you
No
could say that
rich
because
like
you know it like that.
no rich like that.
Okay.
But is there like an IJGB association or something? Do you guys have
She's
something
the
like
chapter
that?
chairman for Texas.
Wetin happen?
Sorry.
Oh, for real?
They itch me to talk. You know, I didn't talk. I'm between those comments. Sorry,
For real?
sorry.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It does
Is
not
it not
exist.
apropos? It's not apropos.
I don't see.
Eh?
I think there's this
No beginning
assumption.
shall
There's
I?
this assumption that every IJGB
Berema, show
knows
us your IG.
Ah.
You guys always know each other now. Like, is IJGB guys argue on
Show
Twitter?
us your IG.
How do you know what I'm doing?
You find the IG. Chapter chairman. She does finish caretaker for California. She don't give him handover to Persina. She don't resume back for the next 4 years for Texas.
What is that?
So
I would just like to. I
my
would
crush,
just
my
like to
crush
make.
just doubled.
I would just like to make it clear that this is not a thing that exists, and there's nothing like
please
chapter.
introduce
I
our
am not
guest
the head of any
properly.
chapter.
So Belema is a SEO and digital marketing
See how my
specialist.
guy does this shine teeth from here to
We
here.
can shine teeth again.
How many female girls don't come here? We don't introduce. We go the bless this quiz face. In fact, today now, if no be saying that Belema, man, you the vex the guy. Oh. He say you know talk am since I say you know the power for man. You go think yeah, but I didn't
Do
look
you
Belema
watch
smile.
football?
No begin the
football?
drag.
What's in
Because
football?
be like say man, I'm like say that man you should
She
support.
needs
See,
someone.
like, I don't know.
Oh, everything just a line. And I can't even get plans to go Texas soon. So like, everything just a
Good
God.
luck to him.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And what does that mean?
I love a woman that doesn't waste time.
Good luck now.
Good luck.
You say you want to go to Texas. Good luck.
She'll show you around.
King of Jaffa will show you the way.
But like when I move there, like I need like a tour guide or something. You know,
Ah.
so.
Your
Texas
city
is big.
is
oh.
big now, and I believe
It's very
the city
big.
go get tour buses and tour cleaning like that. Right?
No. I need
And you
someone.
fit
I need
join
a
our
familiar
guy.
face.
Yeah, if you go join our guy church for them.
You
You know, say our guy for here with the ways talk. You get
get church for them.
You get church for them. All right, let's
Do you know that thing I just found out?
wait.
Oh.
She studied PR and advertising.
Yeah.
Guess what I did for my postgrad?
He's not making it up.
Wow.
He's
So
not
much in
making it.
common.
Somebody is
You know-
starting to see similarities.
Oh,
So much in common.
Whenever if I talk to you, I want to talk like if you common sense.
So much in common.
Wow.
And you know, say Indy very enterprising.
Congrats.
What do you mean by congrats now? No, I mean, it's not. Okay, off the pod. Oh, probably on the Instagram. Please, we'll get it after this now.
All right,
We'll follow up.
but welcome back to Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I am happy
this is probably
to
your
be
second
here.
or third time this year. Yeah, the only IGGB that doesn't wait till December.
You
But as
see that,
chapter
like,
chairman, you coming for different events.
Okay, so this is my second time in Nigeria
This
this year.
do you do that like every year? Like you come in?
No.
What was it?
It's
What's
not
your-
like that though.
What is
It's
that?
not like that.
No, I'm not asking
Do
because
you come in every December?
Actually, to be clear, this is my first December in Lagos since
Representing your
like
chapter.
2017.
Yes. Because once you,
Because
what-
what am I looking for here
yeah.
in December now?
now you've been sworn in, you have to come and take care of your people. How many of your people do you come with? Talk now.
Me, myself, and I.
Belema come dey tell you know all these IJ people. And you know Belema and I go way back. I can't see Belema. I did see announcement. Hi guys, I only came in for this. I did not come with money. What did you try promote?
And they try let everybody know.
No say wetin.
No
so you dey
say-
avoid billing or
My
wetin?
daughter.
If you look at me for money,
I know how
you
to-
will be in shock
you know say
and disarray.
as I be weak,
Because I
as I be
know
weaking,
get.
as I be weaking you.
So you're
I
avoiding
know.
billing.
No
Ah.
worry, I go weak am now.
I don't get.
But that's
I
not the
don't
problem,
get.
Sean.
I go
don't
weaking
get.
Belema now. So you no go drop anything for.
Ah, yeah.
All right, let's get right into it. Any latest news? Any latest news? There's so much.
There's
talk
so
about.
much. There's so much. I mean, come on, man. Let's start with the one that is touching me, Sha. The new IRC policy on proof of funds. Yeah, let's briefly.
If we start that one now, we go take for
Can I
intro.
be honest?
Mm.
One of my favorite things about life is that I did not choose to go to school in America in 2023 because God knows. Let me not lie to you. You will not have work.
Why more expensive?
No, this thing that you people are going through
It's
for
a lot.
front. I know what I went through, and that was a lot. But even now,
And you know,
That's
one of the
crazy.
things that's going on, people just think that it's Nigeria's economy that is going through inflation and everything.
Hmm.
It's
Everybody,
everywhere.
it's not that our own is so bad,
Bad. Yeah.
that when you now want to go there, it will come be like saying, you want to go build house. Because think now, you want to go US or Canada now, you need 40, 50 M. You know, go build house for
Ikorodu.
Ikorodu. You know, somebody was telling, there's one popular thing that's on our page, and I think we should put it for people to see, about people saying, what the person say on that, was it a tweet or an IG comment? The person was saying that maybe he needs 3M to go to Cyprus or something like that. Or something like that. So, no, I can't remember how much person. I can't ask and say, she na Cyprus in one go on her Spain. When you say you want go with that kind of small money
3M. Say 3M.
Yes.
3M no even fit go Ghana at this point. I can't even lie to you.
for school, you fit even share go like for holiday, but for school
You can't go 3M. You can't go to Ghana with 3M now for school.
you can't. How now?
You can't Ghana. Come on.
Maguire. I see Mr. Maguire. So things have become like, and
So
Canada
expensive.
is just even sort of touching base with every other person's reality.
Mm.
So you know, we say something every day in our business. We call it the Big Four,
Mm.
and of the Big Four, Canada is number 4.
Mm.
But because of the immigration policy over the last,
it was
you know, they
good.
became number 1 for everybody.
Mhm.
And so maybe now for the better part of the last decade, we have worked with 10,000 Canadian dollars as the POF for Canada, where California and New York are like 15 to 20K USD. Right? Texas today, now how much you think say Pacific spend? Another maybe 15K today for living per year. So Canada was doing 10K. And 6 months ago, Canadian dollars were like 350. That was 3.5. Now Canadian dollar is 929.
I think
930.
that's the
That's the
biggest,
biggest
issue is
problem.
the exchange rate.
So now you need 80 million in a year to live in Canada.
Mm.
Again, if you don't get the money, just chill. I mean, I send people abroad for different things, but like if you don't have the money, because now we will now segue from this news to Nigerians, they are suffering. Like people are complaining about depression. People are seeking asylum. Melema, you get story. Like,
As well.
so US, Australia, UK, we know say it dey expensive before.
But
Now Canada
was
don't
like
they
the
tell us
friendly-
say.
Yeah, Canada was like the friendly go-to place.
I woke up to a message from a parent today. Say she don't find house for her because we just got her the daughter just got school visa and everything. So the mama they tell me seems that people have been looking for accommodation for like a month plus now in Canada, no accommodation because everything don't cost.
Sorry.
Living in Canada is. I went to Canada for the first time this year.
Mhm.
Living in Canada is expensive. It's ridiculous. Everybody I know that lives in Toronto, for example, cost of living,
Yeah.
ridiculous. But one of the things that I am a self-diagnosed sufferer of seasonal depression.
Are you serious?
No. I do suffer from seasonal depression.
Mm.
The moment it gets dark and cold,
Yeah,
I can't do anything. I can't function.
yeah.
My
Tim
brain
Lola
does
talked
not.
about that.
Yeah.
My brain does not
Yeah.
want to work. Like there's so many things that on a normal day I would do that I have zero energy.
But
to
they say
do.
that if there are vitamins for that now.
Yeah, you
But
take
don't-
your
but
vitamin
it's
D.
still difficult.
You
So,
take
I
all
think
your
it says
things.
D3 or something.
Yeah,
right?
you
That's
take your
minerals.
vitamin D. It's great. It helps you. But at the end of the day,
Once you
the
see-
reality of things is that people are suffering.
Yeah,
It's one thing to have just enough to make it
yeah,
there and just enough to pay for school.
yeah.
But then you have to figure out everything else by
Rent.
yourself.
Rent now in Toronto is like 2K, 2.5
Ah,
per
Lord,
month.
oh, gee.
And you know,
No.
my people are always telling me don't convert it to Naira because 2K today, the black market.
Like it's so funny when people tell me,
Per
oh,
month.
I have to pay XYZ for rent this year, and this is this. And I was like, if I had to pay my rent yearly in America, God knows I will be homeless,
Hmm.
very homeless on the streets because that is
Yeah,
unrealistic.
yeah.
Because what people are paying for 6 months in Lagos is what I'm paying for 1 month.
Every month.
Yes.
Every month.
Yeah, so that crush where they crush, it's just a response. It's not as easy as
No, I mean, I feel we stay almost one now. You see, they call them.
But yeah, but that's the reality. And you know, a lot of people felt maybe Canada was being harsh.
Mm.
But by the time you compare, the UK has been £9,000 for a couple of years now as well. It was about 7,000 before, 9,000 plus outside London, 11,000 plus within London.
Mhm.
Australia is about 24,000 AUD. The US is 15 to 20k USD. Canada is just sort of coming
To those
to
guys.
those
Yeah.
realities,
Yeah.
Mm.
and international students must adapt.
Yeah.
If your economy was, as our former leadership had held our dollar to naira, it will still not even be that bad. But now, dollar is 1-2 and rising.
Yeah.
And that means Canadian dollar is now 900 and something and rising.
Hmm.
So by the time you do those conversions, things are difficult.
Yeah.
And so that's the hottest news now. And I was telling them in the office, so it's politics. You will know this. You know, when the US doesn't use parliamentary systems, but Australia, Canada, and UK are all Commonwealth, right? All under the
Oh,
UK.
Commonwealth. Yeah.
And with the Commonwealth, they use the parliamentary system. So they don't have a president. You basically have a party leader who becomes the prime minister, right? Or a coalition party leader who becomes the prime minister. And so Canada has had this immigration policy now for maybe 15 plus years. They've been taking people in, increasing the numbers. They say they want 400,000 plus 500,000 in 2025, like that. And so you have elections coming, right? And they're not really doing well, the party in charge. So the opposition is making a lot of noise about the problems, you know, and that's what opposition is really about.
yeah,
They keep you in
yeah.
check. So part of what they are basically doing is to now make solutions to what the opposition is complaining about, so that when election comes, they don't lose the majority.
yeah.
And that's really what everything. The Australian Prime Minister just got there. He's not been there for more than about 18 months, created about 600,000 jobs. So he's trying to know the cachet.
Yeah.
The UK guy, our guy Sunak, you know, his party, I believe general elections in the UK is supposed to be next year. So he's the third leader of the party in the last, in one space or something,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So everybody is trying to make changes to sort of fit, you know, what is also the reality.
I think the problem
yeah.
comes when those choices that they make become very prejudiced, right?
Yeah.
So you bring up Rishi Sunak, right? And it's a perfect example of how the people that in there are complaining, the people that are trying to get there are complaining. And so it becomes a situation of you do the best for your country, but when does the best for your country become unreasonable? And I think that's where the balance needs to be made.
Yeah.
So everybody's gonna keep talking about, cost of entry into Canada has tripled, quadrupled, everything. But the fact of the matter is that it's gonna keep doing that until you figure out what to do for you where you are.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that, like, that country is making a decision that is beneficial to them.
To them, yeah.
Belema is making
they're not-
Belema is making a political appeal to you guys, man. Get your PVC, join a party, be involved at the world level. That's the reality. Let's see the fact. Because so Canada has the second largest landmass in the world after Russia, right? And they're currently having a housing
Crisis.
and job deficit. Does it make sense?
I mean, to be fair, it kind of makes sense.
Okay.
Because one of the things that the internet has done is driven people into city centers. Right? So what you end up with is that you have huge land mass that is empty.
Yeah.
because people cannot live in that landmass.
Farmers Day, may they give us, maybe they get agri pilot, may they bring a Farmers Day, may I go
But you see,
Niger, Kebbi, go bring farmers for them. May
okay,
they go
but you
plant.
see, the reality of things is that they have people that work in
those-
those sectors that do like the engineering,
Mm-hmm.
the mining, all of those different things, and they put them in those places,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not able to survive there. It's very cold. It's very bad. Like
True.
the- I think you need to find a way to balance where
Yeah.
cost of living or what you're making
Yeah.
makes sense, right? People go to the US, to everywhere, and they talk all the time about how like people back home don't understand what they're going through.
Mm.
They're starting from the bottom. Oh, I had to go be a cleaner. Or I had to go do this. Or I
True.
had to go work in a restaurant. Or I had to do XYZ.
Yeah.
And it's like you're starting from the bottom to the top because you have to realize like the sacrifices you have to make. So it's cool to be like, oh, there's a housing crisis. But the reason there is a high housing crisis is because the places with the jobs are all city centers.
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna be in a city center, you
Yeah,
have
of
to
course.
live in
Oh,
a city
definitely.
center.
You've got condos, you've got people building high rises, the
Yeah.
cost of everything goes up.
Everything is
The developers will
expensive.
tell you they got it on interest rates of X%. So everything does contribute to, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, at this particular junction, at the Levy, we're basically telling people, look, Canada has these policies set, but why do you want to run into a place where there's sort of there's problem waiting for you?
Yeah.
There are other countries that have,
Better
opportunities. One thing I'll tell you is that Nigerians don't like to learn new languages because
Facts.
what America, Canada is complaining about migration, Australia and the UK, Europe is crying for people to come. We were talking about the country who is even telling people to come that they need men to come and marry their
Like a
women.
woman. Yeah.
But
You know,
see,
so-
I think that's not just a Nigerian problem. That's an everybody problem.
Yeah.
It's easier to not have to learn
Learn
a
a
new
language,
new
yeah.
language. It's very easy, and so it's very interesting because like you find a lot of Nigerians end up in Eastern European countries, right? And in my head, I used to think, oh, that's a lot of Nigerians. Now I'm realizing it's not even that much,
Yeah.
right? And so it's very interesting because it's easy to say if you cannot get into America or Canada
Yeah.
or the UK, go to Poland.
Yeah.
But a typical Nigerian will ask you, what am I looking for in Poland?
Yeah.
And it's a fair question. What am I looking for in Poland?
Yeah.
What am I looking for in Czech Republic?
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah. You've got language barriers, you've got the cold.
Racism.
Well, don't even get me started on that.
That one is everywhere.
Don't get me started on racism because
Yeah.
But like, so how long have you been in the US?
Oh, okay. So I got admission. It's very funny because I think I wanted to apply to like 2 or 3 different schools. But I think I went all the way with just one school.
person of faith.
So like just one school.
I went with a public university. And I decided that I didn't want to go to school.
Sorry, was this a master's level or from bachelor's?
Just bachelor's, undergrad.
Can I just pause you there? Something like this just hit home. It's only when you go school in the UK, US, Canada that you can actually open a statement by saying, oh, I picked a public university.
uni.
And it's actually like cruise.
Yeah,
Here.
you can't brag about. I mean, there are certain public universities you can brag about,
Yeah.
but like
Because it hits me.
it's private unis that
it
guys
hits me
always
and
like. Yeah.
Omo.
Yeah. It was very interesting because I picked somewhere that I knew I didn't know anybody.
Mm.
And I think that was in desperation to leave, right? It was like I wanted something new. I needed something different. I wanted different people. I was sick of like the grind and how Nigeria was. Like it was like, oh, I'll be away from family. I'll be away
Yeah.
from this. And it's like, when you're younger, that seems very appealing.
Mm.
And so for me, it was like, okay, what's a school that what we were just talking about, proof of funds
Yeah.
would be
So
like
crazy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so crazy.
And
It
plus
wouldn't be
scholarships and things
ridiculous,
like that.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it was like, unfortunately, I had to rely on my parents
Mm.
a lot because it was harder to get like scholarships. It was
Mhm.
harder to like. It was so interesting because when I got my admission,
Mhm.
I had applied to like I think start in the fall or something,
Yeah.
and I ended up having to start in the spring.
Mm.
And it was very like it was very interesting. Went through the whole visa process, did everything, and I went there. I went there smack dab in the dead of winter. And I remember not being prepared for that. I was freezing. I was like
And
crying.
no family, just you,
Nothing. And it
nobody.
was just like, okay, you can do it. And I think that was one of the things that helped me was like I made myself become outgoing, right? And I think one of the tips that I would give to people is if you find yourself in a position where your family is only able to do so much,
Mhm.
you have to know how to be resourceful.
Mm.
So if your family is only able to sort maybe housing and school fees,
You got to figure out
Feeding
feeding.
you have to
and
figure
rent
out
and all
feeding
that.
and
Gotta-
everything.
yes.
And there were some
Maximize your hours.
it was like, and that's the thing is that, like, for example, in America, with me, one of the biggest issues that I had was I had restrictions on work, right?
Yeah.
And most international students, you have restrictions.
20 hours per week.
So 20 hours per week, but mine was worse because I think in the US, I know some people find their way around it,
Mhm.
but the rule is 20 hours per week. But also, I had to work on campus.
Mm.
So on campus is minimum wage.
Yeah.
That means you're making maybe $8 an hour.
Yeah.
And $8 an hour is not gonna
It's
be
not going to
for
do
food.
much. It's not going to do much for you.
It's like it's just not gonna work. And so it was very interesting because when my parents were like, oh, okay, you're gonna go abroad and do all of this, I didn't actually go to school with the intention to study public relations and advertising. I went to school on an engineering admission.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we did discover things for this our episode. Now, so my
So,
I
like,
go
how-
do like 5 different courses. This one are fresh news to me. Oh.
Yeah. I actually got admitted to do computer engineering. And I think that's something that I've come to terms with now because I find that in the chase of Japa,
Japa syndrome.
everybody is looking for something that gives them that
Quick cash,
quick
good
cash,
money, good jobs,
good money, good
opportunities for
job.
family.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I want it that when I graduate, I
Yeah,
get
I'll get
immediate
a job, yeah.
sponsorship,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And I realized when I got there that no matter how much I tried to dedicate my time, my energy to learning all of these things,
It wasn't for
was a
you.
bit difficult.
I hated it. I remember my first computer science class. I think I had only been on campus maybe 2-3 weeks. And I go to my first computer science class. And I remember I walk in, there may be 12 people in this class.
Wow.
Everybody was a guy. There were 2 girls in the class. 2 of us were black. And the professor, she comes in and she starts talking. And as she's talking and it was going inside his ear. It was coming out of the other. Nothing she was saying was
It
making
was
sense.
gibberish.
And I look at the girl and the girl was looking at me and we're just staring at each other and we're so confused. Come to find out, like, she's talking about, like, oh, this project, this, that. And this is stuff that everybody understands what she's saying.
But you guys.
Because they've been doing this since they were in high school, secondary school. So, like, nothing she was saying was weird. So it didn't make any sense. So I realized, okay, I like the hands-on. I do not like the computer.
The unknowns.
Like, it was giving me too much
Yeah.
headache. And it was like the reality of things is that I will fail. I will actually fail. And I struggled with that. So I went back. And like you have to go through multiple processes. And I went back to my like international student advisor. And I said, y'all gonna have to fix my immigration because I can't do this.
But how long was this? Like, how long had you stayed in your
I think I
computer
had
classes?
been in computer engineering for like maybe a year-ish, a year and a half. And I went and I told them, and they were like, the easiest thing to switch over to will be electrical engineering. And I took the classes. I was doing much better. I was feeling better.
You and my was.
But
You and my one the collabo. You and my one the
no, I
collabo.
did electrical, and I was doing much better. But then I think it was by like almost my third year, I I went back and I said, I didn't tell my parents. I just went back and I told the woman, I said, what is going to happen? That's me. I'm going to make up my own curriculum. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but
Really?
we're gonna do it.
Did you take advice from anyone, or it was just you?
I took a bunch of different classes to kind of figure out what I liked. I remember taking an intro to anthropology, cultural anthropology, in like freshman year, and because that was one of the like social science classes I could take, and then I really really liked that. But I knew I could not make that my major. My parents would literally disown me. So I took as
Yeah.
much classes of that to where I graduated with that as my minor. I had like big projects with that. Like I did ridiculous stuff with that. That was really great. But I realized that they don't give you different options here, right?
Mm.
People tell you, oh, law, engineering, medicine, this, that, that, but they don't go into like the specifics of the kind of jobs you can get.
Mm.
And so that is how I realized that the issue was not that I did not like computers. The issue was not that I did not want to work with computers. The issue was that I did not want to code.
Mm.
And you cannot make me code,
Mm.
but you can give me other options of what to do. So I
Yeah.
got into public relations and advertising. I was doing a lot of design work. I was doing a lot of writing. I was doing radio. Like I even had a radio show. Like it was that like it was very much like that level of like, okay, I've essentially customized what it looks like. So for people that were graduating with me, and I ended up doing like most people graduate in 4 years. I ended up graduating in 4.5. But um I essentially like customized it to the point that my advisor was just like, where people are doing, so they tell you, oh, if you're graduating in this, you need this many science hours, this many social, like where people were doing maybe an intro to something class. What was on my thing was physics, something, something. Like where somebody's doing XYZ math class, what was on my thing was calculus.
Mm.
Like it was that kind of energy. It was like it was a very technical degree.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, graphic design is there, advertising is there, doing all of that. And then it was very hard because I know, like I said earlier, people want that push of I can show up, I can make it money, I can get a job.
Yeah.
But I knew that that was a risk that I was willing to take. I started applying for internships like right before like I had gotten an internship that let me work on campus, but right before I graduated, I started applying for internships all over the US. I had applied to get the like work permit thing, so I had like maybe a year that I could use to work. And I applied for internships everywhere, and I got one at a PR agency in Texas. And that's how I ended up in Texas.
Wow.
I got an internship there. It was literally a 3-month internship, which is nothing because 3 months finish in like snap of a finger. And I remember that internship ended, and I went ahead and I got another internship. And I think my message would be more to people that are not following traditional
Career path.
courses and stuff like that. I think like it's very easy to expect a job to sponsor you, But what I studied is not a degree that you ever get sponsorship for typically.
Yeah.
Like it's very hard to come across somebody willing to sponsor you.
Yeah.
So after I got that, I got another internship, and that's how I found a way to finesse what I was doing. I got into contract work.
Interesting.
And I think that is one of the saving graces that has brought me to where I am today. Because in the past 10 years, a lot of the work I have done has been contract. Because one of the things that I fully realized was I cannot keep going for job interviews and they are telling me, "Oh, you're great, you
But-
fit, but we can't sponsor
Sponsor
you."
you.
Or I cannot keep going for job interviews and they're telling me, "Oh, you have 6 months left on your work permit," and I'm trying to explain to them that, "Oh, when those 6 months are over, I'm a great individual. They will extend my
Yeah.
work permit."
Well, how did the contract work?
So
Yeah.
it became very interesting because what I started doing was I knew what I liked to do. So I started going for positions where people would give like 3-month contracts, 6-month contracts, 2-day contracts. So I started working a lot of part-time jobs
Yeah.
on the way to actually keep up with bills, pay stuff, do all of that. And it was very much like, okay, I'm going to extend all of this. I'm going to kind of figure out immigration through family. Like, I have my cousins, I have people.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm going to not, like, it's not going to be smooth. But one of the things that I would know is that even if it's not smooth, I am happy doing what I am doing.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that I have realized is that if you go abroad and you're doing a job that you hate, you pick up vices.
Mm.
And when you pick up vices,
You know
you
they
pick up
hard
those
for-
vices to keep up with the fact that you hate what you are doing.
Mm.
And it becomes problematic. So I would take like part-time jobs where they were not too bothered, where they knew that there was a timeline on my stuff. This was stuff that would not benefit me in any way. It added nothing to my career point, but it helped me do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I remember one of the funniest contracts I ever got. I started signing up for like actual like agencies that would hire like source staffing agencies.
Yeah.
Like they'll help people find jobs, and I would sign up for them because they were more likely to get shorter contracts. That this company needs somebody to do XYZ for
Yeah.
this day. And I remember one time, I got a call while I was at my part-time job that was like, "Hey, are you available tomorrow? This company needs you to come in and do spreadsheets for 2 days."
So temp jobs.
Yeah.
That
And I was
easy.
like, okay, cool. I told because obviously the small 2-day job, the pay would be way better than what my part-time was paying.
Yeah.
So I just told them, I'm not coming the next 2 days. Sorry, this is what I'm doing. And it's like part-time, and it's like I knew I was a good enough worker to where it wouldn't be like,
A problem
"Oh,
where
you're
you're-
fired," or this. So I remember I went for this
2 days,
contract, and the thing that was meant to be done in 2 days, we finished it in 1 day. And then they were like, "Okay, you don't have to come back." And then a week later, I got a call back, and they were like, "You were really good. They want you to come in for 1 week." I came in for 1 week.
If not church, we didn't have testimonies.
Do
with
you
this,
know
so-
that that contract, I was there, working there, that 1 week
Turned to
turned to
something.
9 months.
Ooh.
I said not testimony.
9 months.
If not church, we
Like,
did now.
I would, like, every,
And that's how it is.
every
Consistency pays.
Yeah, every 3 months, I'll be thinking they're about to
Let you
like
go,
let
like
me
to,
go.
you know,
Because
just-
that's the fear with doing contracts, is that like
No certainty.
there's no certainty, right? But like at least the one thing I was sure of was that nobody is going to tell me, "Oh, your work permitted this." And I was just like, I'm just gonna put my head down and everything. So something that was the total of like 1 day work
Mainly to
turned to 9 months.
months.
And it's like tiny things like that are one of the things that help me. And I think like that's the key thing for everybody is following the traditional route is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting,
It doesn't guarantee
but it
anything.
doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee your happiness.
Yes.
It doesn't guarantee peace of mind. It doesn't guarantee.
The funny thing is that if I take what Belema is saying now to secondary schools and universities, they'll probably even boo you. I'm like, because of all the things that they are following on social media, those things begin to teach us something.
And
yeah.
that's fair too, because I think social media, yes, has its cons, but it also has its pros.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things that people are doing to make money now that are very non-traditional.
Yeah.
That I wish I could have done
years ago.
Right? And so it's very interesting because like when I finally got a job that was like A1, everything's
Full-time,
good, like all like it was the job I had been looking for all my life. Do you know that when I got that job, typically in the US they give you like especially if you start a new job, they give you like a 90-day probation, kind of like to make sure, and they will check in with you.
Just to make sure that we like you like us, everything. Yeah.
I started that job. I loved that job. It was very much like not the best pay in the world, but it was enough pay where I could pay my bills. I could finally do stuff. I wasn't eating hand to mouth. I wasn't struggling.
Yeah.
And I remember the 90-day mark came the week that the US shut down for COVID.
Hey. Oh.
And that week, they had told all of us to go home and be working from home. And by the end of that week, I had gotten a phone call that I did not have a job anymore.
Wow.
Village people.
And I remember
COVID really did a lot.
I sat down there and I started
crying. I can't imagine. At that point, how many years had you put in?
I had put
after school.
So that was 2020, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, about 6 years of doing
laboring, like
all these different
building the right
things
steps,
and finally getting my green card, and it was like, okay, you're good to go. All of these different things. And because one other thing was that even after I got my green card, one of the things that would always come up would be I would go for job interviews and they would ask me, oh, what is this gap in your resume? When, do you want me to tell you that I went and I was trying to waitress? I was doing this,
everything,
I was doing that, I was doing this, and it's just like, oh, no. And so for me, I had to stand up, and it was like, okay, I'm going to go back to the basics. Found something that would let me work part-time, but I didn't have to necessarily interact with too many people. And while I was doing that, I was just trying to save money, and then after 5-6 months in 2020, I decided, what are the things that you like? That's how I started researching going into music business. Then while that was going on, I also was like, Belma, you've been through this before. This is not news. Go back to contract. That's literally what I did.
And that's how you go back into the game.
I literally just started putting feelers out there. There was a lady that I was working for that I worked for her for a year. I met her a total of one time. And I was doing contracts for her. I would do all these different random things. I was working all these different jobs. And then it's so funny because the job I work right now, I've been there for about 2 years. And I remember that I didn't apply for this job. I just got, because you know how I told you, with doing contracts, you put feelers out there.
Yeah.
So you put your information
So many
out there.
things,
You have staffing agencies. You have all these different
yeah.
things. I just got a text message one day that said, we are looking for somebody to do 6 months with a company, and this is how much they're paying. Are you available? And I was like, 6 months with this amount of money? Ha! I am available. I am very, very
Stop
available.
playing.
And I remember I spoke on the phone with the lady because I was like, like I was so scared because I didn't even know how to. She was like, "You applied for." I didn't know how to tell this thing. I didn't apply for anything. Who are you? Where did you get my information?
Belema really is.
And
Belema is preaching.
I was just like sitting down there, and I remember speaking to her, and she was like, "Okay, I think you're a good fit. I will send you to the company." And she sent me to the company, and I spoke with the person that would be my manager. Spoke with one of the other people there, and I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely not getting this job."
Why?
Oh, why?
It was bad. It was really bad. It was very like unsettling. And I think like maybe 2 weeks later, I get a call and they're like, "You got the job." And I remember being sitting there and I was just like, this is money I've never seen in my life. But then again, it's contract.
6 months.
So it's like, will this last? Will this not last? And I remember starting the job. And I was like, oh, these people are going to fire me. These people are going to fire
like-
me.
Was it in the line of something you had done?
Like I had done digital marketing for years. But this was getting very much into like CMS, so management systems, getting much into like SEO, getting very specific into like things that like where the things that I was running away from as an engineering student, where you're coding, you're doing all of that, that I knew I liked. I realized the reason why it wasn't working for me when I was in school was because I was not thinking outside the box, right? So instead of being the person that is on the tech team, I am the person that is telling the tech team what to do.
Yeah, projects, basically project management.
And it was management. Like, imagine, I think the easiest way to describe what I do is that imagine a website, right? Somebody has to build out that website. I'm the person that determines where something goes on that website and what that looks like. And it's a lot of like content management. Like instead of content managing for Instagram or Twitter or social media, you're content managing for an actual company. And so for me, that was like, oh, this is big. This is different. And it's like, I'm now sitting down here and thinking, oh, if I use this word, will Google pick it up faster than this word?
So did you have to learn that on the job, or you already had SEO skills?
One of the things that I did was that I started trying to like certify myself while I was doing all these contracts. But at the same time, I realized that like there are some things you just have to learn on the job. And I remember I sat down there and the first 3 months were rough. Because I was like, every day I was like, they're going to fire me. I just know they're going to fire me.
I want to ask, are you your biggest critic though? Because is this just you being self-aware? Because your experience
it was
and exposure,
because I was self-aware, but it was also because I was like, I think it's very important that where you work gives you grace. Because I had worked a job before where I had dealt with something similar. It was slightly different, but something similar. And they didn't even give me anything. Like once the 3 months were up, they were just like,
thanks for coming.
Like it was like, and that was the problem. They didn't even tell me thanks for coming.
Wow.
They told somebody else to tell me thanks for coming. And so I remember sitting down there and my manager would ask me, how are you feeling? This. And I would just be like, this man is talking a lot. Because you are asking me questions that I do not know the answer to. And you are stressing me out. And by the time my 6 months were up, they were like, oh, do you want to join the company permanently? And I was like, duh. I was like,
have you heard my story? You know where I'm coming from?
I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Obviously. And I remember like sitting down there, and now we've come so far where it's like I'm leading my own team.
Yeah.
Now
you determine your vacation days.
I'm making my
decisions.
IG,
I'm
coming here. They're calling me IJ. They're calling me IJGB. They're calling me IJGB.
They don't know the story.
Oh no. And it's so funny because like I think I left 2000 and 2010. I didn't come back till like
2017,
2017,
yeah.
2018. That was the first time I came back to Nigeria. And I remember that like the time in between was long.
I can't imagine.
It was hard.
With the stories,
It
yeah.
was scary. It was painful.
Mm.
And then 2018 to like 2020, it was like you're coming up, you're going down, you're coming up, you're going down, you're coming up,
seesaw.
you're going down. And it's like nothing's consistent. But like I finally felt better. And so I think my biggest advice to everybody would be find what brings you joy.
Hmm.
Because let me not lie to you. When the suffering gets really, really, really hard
Mhm.
and you are not doing well
Mhm.
and you are not making money,
Mhm.
you would need something to hold on to. It's how they
Yeah.
always tell people that, like, when you marry somebody or when you're dating somebody, you have to find somebody that is good to look at so that when they piss you off,
You see, at least you're fine.
at least you are fine.
Interesting.
And I think that's the thing. Is
Stephen A. Smith said that.
yeah.
But like, so within those 8 years of suffering, were you alone or you had like a support system? Like,
I mean, family is always a great support system. Friends are always important. I think one of the things that I would say about myself is that I don't know if the word would be acquaintances, right? I know a lot of people. They might not know who I am, but I make it my
Your goal.
to know who people are, right? Now, those people might not be beneficial to me. Those people might not care who I am. Those people might look me up and down and be like, who is this one?
Mhm.
But I find that one of the biggest blessings to my life has been community.
Mm.
And one of the biggest blessings to the work I do is community. And so, if you don't have that community, it doesn't matter what you're doing. So, I have my church community, I have my friends. I think, like, it's very different if you're somebody that's not close to family,
Yeah.
because family is like hit or miss sometimes. Especially because you can't
Yeah.
you can't disown
You can't
family.
disown
That's your
family.
family,
Yeah.
right? So it's like if they piss you off or if they don't agree with the decisions you are making, it's a lot harder because you can't, like, people will say, oh, I don't speak to this person, I cut
Yeah.
off this person, I cut off my sister, I cut off my brother, I cut off my family, right? But it's like that's still your family. You cut them off does
Regardless.
not stop them from being your family.
family. Yeah.
So it's like you have to find the pockets that bring you joy.
Mm.
And I think ultimately, was there a faster route
Mhm.
to where I am now? Probably.
Mm.
Did I take that faster route?
No.
No. Do I wish that I took that faster route?
I hope you-
Sometimes.
Yeah, I hope you would say no.
But no, sometimes I do. Let me not lie to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I wish I was where I am now, like
A
5
couple of
years
years
ago.
ago.
Like
Decisions.
I won't lie to you. Sometimes I think that way. But at the same time, I am fully aware that a lot of the people that I met along the way helped me.
It's interesting because this is effectively 7 to 10 years of your life. Leaving secondary school and having counselors, I'm hearing that probably did not do it didn't give you it didn't do justice to your
It
decision
didn't do
making.
anything for me. And I think it has a lot to do with the culture we are in.
Yeah.
All a counselor is doing here in secondary school is making sure that the students in their care are not killing each other.
Yeah.
Making sure the students in their care are doing well in class.
So
But the class they are doing well in or not doing well in, you don't know if that is what they even want to do. And it's very much a case of a counselor is setting you up. A lot of the counselors out here are setting you up for a great future. But the problem becomes that great future looks very different from what your future should be.
So basically, they are setting you up for their own idea of a great future, not what works for you.
Exactly. So it's very much the simple, get a job, become a doctor. If you are a doctor and you work in medicine, you will make money.
It's all
Once you
generic.
make money, that will be able to take care of your family.
And I think counseling is the one place where you cannot be generic. Just like counseling for work, counseling for relationships, for marriage, anything. Counseling is the one place where like there's no opportunity to be generic. Because if I tell Isaac and Belema the same thing, and it only works well for Isaac, I've put Belema in problem. And that's usually where, there's some level of wisdom.
And I think that's it.
So yeah, and for me, I think I can define counseling, and I did this in my postgrad. Counseling really fits. It's really a heart-to-heart thing. It doesn't have much to do with the knowledge you get in counseling will then guide you when you have figured out what works for Belema and what works for Isaac.
Yeah.
Not the knowledge first. Because then you now find out later that, the knowledge was good, but it didn't do anything to help Belema. Because like you said, going in spring the following year would have been maybe May. The following year.
So instead of graduating in December, I graduated in May, which was fine. But it's like all of this to say I had to do some deep digging.
Yeah.
So when I graduated, and I'm telling people I graduated with 2 majors and 1 minor, people are looking at me
thinking
funny.
like,
But you don't know what
you're
it
suffering.
took
Because people like,
to get there.
boss, only you after you now you.
Oh, you are
But
very smart.
yeah.
Trust me. This smart take me so far.
But it's interesting. It's a good place to segue and sort of wrap up because so this is already December. The next intake four international students they can get into is spring next year, which is usually April, May.
Yeah.
So US, UK, Canada, that's the next available intakes. And then of course the fall, which is usually the September intake. And in our organization, we're basically telling people, okay, come apply to the Big Four, even free admission and all that is available for you. It's for May and September 2024. But one thing that you have said to us today that I have to again reiterate for my advisors is that you must cancel people for things like when you're going into, for instance, the US or Canada in May, where maybe winter is still very much a thing.
Yeah,
Or,
it's more
all
like
those
when
things
you're
are
going
very-
like December,
Yes.
January, like where
Yes.
that's the times to
Sometimes can be
careful.
very, very. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had someone in the UK even tell us about the depression that she felt with, similar to what you said.
Yeah.
But effectively, what works in May may not work for people in September.
September,
Particularly
yeah.
September where there's a lot of orientation, it's summer,
Yeah.
and everything just sort of works for us. And I mean, I can't lie, this story has, the story deserves a part 2, but it really emphasizes consistency because
Yeah.
what you have gone through all this to, and as somebody who has known you for what
I've known you since I was
since
a child.
you were a child,
I've
and
known you since I was like maybe 10.
imagine if, for instance, over the years, some of your classmates in our association groups now feel like, Belema the US, Belema must be happy.
Oh, Belema is happy. Belema is happy now.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because and I was going to ask you that. Now I can really feel your happiness because sometimes I see your IG and I'm like, Belema is really happy. But now I could have assumed that the last 10 years has been chill.
Yeah.
When Maiwa came on the pod and Maiwa said, and don't worry, we can put the link of Maiwa was talking about this and we almost moved to tears because Maiwa was like in the US doing something, this major, that university,
what's so
Canada.
funny?
And I'm like, you went through all this.
You know what's so
and we
funny
didn't
is
know?
that I when I got that internship, that was a 3-month internship that sent me to Texas.
Yes.
Maiwa was the first person I met
Wow.
because he lived there.
Yeah, at
already.
the time, yes.
And I remember Maiwa would like introduce me to people. He would take me places, and it kind of brought me full circle. I was not necessarily alone, like that kind of thing. So it's very interesting. All I'll say to people is if you want to be traditional, be traditional.
Yeah.
If you want to make YouTube videos and that's your calling in life,
Do
do
it.
that. If you wanna have fun, have fun.
Yeah.
If you wanna go the non-traditional route, that's also an option.
Just
Don't
do it.
make anybody else determine what your future looks like.
Yeah.
Don't it be your parents, counselors, nobody. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I try to give it a balance, and I tell myself that while that is very correct, there's still sort of like a process to life.
Oh, there's definitely a process.
And I would say that most of us, when we are young, we don't want to follow that process. Because usually, even when you figure out, for instance, that maybe YouTube is your calling, or there's something you have to put out for the
You
world,
still have
just
to
like,
put in work.
and that's usually
And people
what
don't want to
Yeah,
put
you
in
don't
work.
put in work. You
You
just
don't
want to
put
bring
in
a
work.
camera and just say nonsense on the internet and
you are angry, sir. You are angry. Thank you guys for coming for.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so yes, thank you, Belema, for coming. Ilero Education and Jackpot Partners, we've been doing a lot of things, and right now for 2024, even into 2025 intakes, because now as an international student, if you won't go anywhere, you need 1 year plus planning,
to
because
plan,
everything
yeah.
now is even upside down.
yeah.
You want to go to Canada now, apply for your visa 6 months ahead, just like the US does. So free admission is available for you and yours. You want to study in any of the big 4 countries. Once you have your documentation and you can show us that, I can afford to go, we've got over 1,000 partner schools, even from high school levels. And just like Belema said in this episode, we're big on counseling. And when I say people, come pay for a consult, people don't want to pay for a consult, because our secondary schools don't even have enough counselors. They don't have enough regulated counselors. And we're like, come, let's give you some guidance. And people don't want to do that. So you guys visit our website, book a consult, and we're happy to help you guys. Isaac, last word before we.
Thanks, Belema, for coming.
Crush.
I'm screaming.
We'll follow up after the episode is out.